what's your reaction to what happened this weekend and then Ja's response?
It probably took something like this, Jan, Skip, in order for Ja to realize the error of his ways. Ja was traveling down a road he didn't need to be on. And I don't want to say I'm the only one because I believe people have tried to reach out to Ja. But Skip, when you're young and you have a lot of money, you feel, first of all, when you're young, you feel you're invincible. Now, just imagine you're young and you have a $200 million contract from the Grizzlies. You have a signature shoe from Nike, and you're one of the major faces of Powerade. Now you really think you are invincible. And so he was traveling on a road he didn't need to be on. And I hate that it had to take something like this for him to become very self-reflective. Skip, the NBA is not done with this. This is what we know. Skip, you remember in 2009, Gilbert Arenas did what he did? He brought firearms to the facility. Now, I'm not sure it works like this, but I think it does. In the NFL, you cannot have a firearm on NFL premises, which means training facilities, which means the stadium. I believe it is the exact same way with the NBA. You cannot have a firearm on the premises, training facility, the arena. He had to have taken that gun on the plane from Memphis to Denver. He had to have taken that gun in the arena, or how else would he have gotten that gun and to do what he did on IG Live? Gilbert Arenas was suspended, if I'm not mistaken. I think it happened like mid-December. He missed the rest of the season. I'm going to be very surprised if the NBA doesn't come down very, very harsh on Ja Morant. I like the apology. Hopefully he gets the help, whatever help that is, in dealing with what he needs to deal with. But Ja, I was just offering you advice, bro. You're talking about, and good advice, Skip, is only good if the person that is receiving it adheres to the advice. That's it. Because I can see where this was heading. Ja was wanting to be something that he shouldn't have wanted to be. As I've said before, Skip, normally people think about it, Skip. John Gotti never said that he was a gangster. No. Meyer Lansky never said they were gangsters. Gangsters never tell you what they are. They do everything they can to perpetrate something that they're not. They're not what they, we know what they were, but they wanted to be outstanding gentlemen. Skip, they had businesses. They were just great in the community because they didn't want to portray that image. Why would someone have a $231 million contract that kicks in next year, a signature shoe, a Powerade national ad? Why would you want to perpetuate that you're a gangster, that you're a thug? So it made no sense to me. I love the fact that Ja apologized. He knows that he was wrong. And hopefully, Skip, I don't believe, you know what, Skip, as I sat back and became very reflective myself this weekend, I do believe some of Ja peers, some of Ja homies have tried to reach out to Ja. But when you're young and you got a lot of money, you're not willing to listen to anybody. And Skip, you remember I told you on Friday, the dynamic changes once the child becomes the breadwinner. Skip, I don't know how it is in your community, but let me talk to you about how it was a little bit in my community. And not all, but a lot of times. Whoever's making the money makes the decisions. My grandfather used to tell my uncles and aunts, if you don't like it, hell, I pay the bills here. I put food on the table. You leave. Now the child becomes the breadwinner. Now the child says what, Skip? How do you tell someone that's providing? How could you tell your parents? And now you shouldn't talk to your parents anyway, but how do you tell a parent that you're paying all the bills? I pay your bills. I pay your bills. I bought this car. I bought that car. So the dynamic changed in the relationship. Hopefully his dad, Morant, sits him down and says, Ja, bro, hey, check this out. You're moving in a way that's not conducive for long term. You got an opportunity to be special. You have an opportunity to be one of the faces, if not the face of the NBA. But you got to be squeaky clean. You got to change the way you're doing business. You got to move differently. And a lot of the guys that you associate yourself with, it's time to let them start falling off like leaves come fall. Ja, congratulations, bro. I'm sorry that it took something like this, but I'm glad it didn't go even further and it took something tragic or catastrophic for you to realize the error of your ways.
Every point well said by Shannon Sharpe, a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Hope you're listening, Ja Morant. Now it's my turn. Shannon, let me start with this. Let me just get this off my chest, get it out of my craw, because the first point I would like to make about the IG Live that I about fell off my couch when I first saw on whatever it was, Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. You can call me a stick in the mud, a grumpy old man, but this is what first hit me. What exactly was Ja Morant celebrating at 5:20 in the morning? They had just played in Denver what I would call a measuring stick game that I was very excited to see. I thought maybe Denver would show, Memphis would show me a little something on the road. They haven't. They were 12-18 on the road going into that game. They did show me something in the first half, Shannon. They were up 8 at halftime. They got blown off the floor in the second half by 63-39. And I'm looking at Ja's stats in the second half. He went 2 out of 10 in the second half. Interesting. So he's the floor general. He's the quarterback. He's the point guard. And he had to take some culpability, some responsibility for getting blown off the floor at Denver in the second half. Was he clinging to his stats for the game? Because overall, they look pretty decent. He led his team in scoring with 27 and in assists with 10. But again, 2 for 10 in the second half. And I'm thinking, what exactly are you so happy about? What exactly? It looked like they just won it all in the celebration that I saw. And I've had people tell me, oh, it's just the kids today. They don't really care that much about winning. James Harden sort of set the tone for this generation. He could lose Game 7 of the finals and he'd be at the club. And it might not be that kind of club. It might be that kind of club that James would be at right after the game, because it doesn't seem to bother him one way or the other. Maybe all that's true. But now I get back to Ja. And obviously, Shannon, you and I have talked repeatedly on this show about incident after incident after incident. Washington Post reported last summer he's having a pickup game at his house with a 17-year-old star in Houston, and they get into it, and one thing leads to another. And according to the police, the kid got roughed up, and Ja popped him several times and in the face, and then went in the house and got his gun, stuck it in his belt, and was sort of brandishing his gun, if you will, or showing his gun to the kid. You don't want any of this. Then there was an incident at the mall with the head of security out in the parking lot, an incident that head of security took so seriously that he filed a police report against Ja and his friends. And then we had the incident after the Indiana Pacers game in Memphis, as you well know. They got into it during the game. One of Ja's best friends, I think it's his best friend, got ejected and then banned from the arena. And yet after the game in the parking lot, as the Pacers walked to their bus out on the loading dock, several reported that they had red dots trained on them from a car in which Ja was sitting. I don't know if Ja was responsible for the red dots, but the Indiana security people said those are the products of guns, that they're training, obviously, lasers on us. Okay, so we got one thing after another leading to this. And you want to talk about brazen, in light of all that had just gone on. Wait a second, you choose to go on IG Live? It's not like it was just somebody's cell video, some hanger-on or some bystander who posted some video. No, you posted the video. And I guess the best start to all this is that he did delete his IG and Twitter accounts. Now, those could be reinstated at some point. So to your point, did I like the apology? Well, sure, I like the apology, but as we always talk about, Shannon, are you sure he wrote the apology? I don't know. It sounds great. I take full responsibility. I let everyone down, my family, Memphis, the organization. And then he said, I'm going to take some time away to get help. And I know his coach last night, when he addressed the media about it, talked about what a difficult process is going to be, that it's going to be an ongoing healing process. He does need some help, and this is a growth opportunity. So, Shannon, I ask you, and I don't know because they pressed the head coach last night about this. Yeah, about what exactly help does he need, and he would not go into any detail. Is he having some issue with alcohol or drugs? I don't know. It raises the question there of what exactly are your issues going forward? I don't know if you have any thought about that. Do you think he needs just some psychological help? Does he need some counseling? Or does he have some issue that he needs to address?
Well, Skip, this is going to require more schooling that I went to and got and received in my 4-year education, a little over 4-year education at Savannah State. But Skip, I just think the thing is, maybe he's dealing with stress. Maybe this is his way. Maybe he's been threatened. Skip, but see, I don't want to put too much into it. I don't want to say because I think the thing is the NBA, they have security and they know people. So if Ja would have said, I feel threatened, someone is threatening me in the community, he could have gone to the NBA and they could have looked into it. So I don't want to absolve, because now it seems like if we're trying to make excuses for Ja's behavior. And I don't want to do that. And I read what Paul Pierce said, that when I got stabbed, I started carrying a gun. But let me tell you something about this internet, Skip. You start flashing your money, somebody gonna come see you. You start flashing the gun on IG Live, somebody gonna check you and see if you really about that gunplay.
Okay.
Hey, that type of rhetoric over the IG, let that go. Ja, you don't. I mean, why? Skip, why would somebody that has a $231 million want to have gunplay, want to carry a stick like that and then flash it? Look, he has a right. He has a Second Amendment right. But the NBA says, we're not going to infringe on that right.
No.
But you're not going to bring that to the arenas. You're not going to have that at your training facility. And you're definitely not going to bring that on the plane. So that's where he ran afoul with the NBA. And it shows just how tone deaf he is, Skip. You mentioned all the issues, and some of them was involving a gun. And you said, you know what I'm going to do? Even though that article just came out, I'm going to get on IG Live, and I'm going to flash this stick, and I'm going to let y'all know I bang a little bit if I need to. Really?
Really.
But like I said, Skip, he said he's going to step away. He apologized for his actions. He apologized for his behavior, and hopefully he gets the help that he needs. But I need the people that's closest around him. I need, hey, T, bruh, I need you to be a father, not a fan and a friend. I'm not saying that you haven't, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn. Maybe you have talked to your son. Maybe others that's close to Ja has talked to him, but it wasn't resonating. Maybe this is what it took for it to resonate and for him to come to the grips and to the gravity of what he did and what was going on in the path that he was traveling down that he didn't need to travel down.
Okay. Shannon, you have brought this up several times. Is Ja trying to be somebody he's not? Is he trying to be about that life instead of the NBA life? Is he trying to be hard when he's not really hard? And
Skip, how about this here? Can I do you this with Skip? And I hate to cut you off because I want you to make your point. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, he came from the meanest streets of South Carolina. Let's just say he came from the west side of Chicago, the hardest borough in New York City. You made it out. You made it out of there. You can go back to the hood. Skip, if you make it out of the hood, you can go back to buy it, to build it up. But you don't go back after you've made it and deal with the same things you were doing as a child. You had dreams and aspirations. Said, you know, one day I'm going to get out of here. One day I'm not going to have to eat this. I'm not going to have to live like this. And I'm going to lift my family up. And I'm going to set my family up for hundreds and hundreds of years to go. You do that. You're in the process of doing that. And for some reason, you say, you know what? I done got up out of there, but let y'all know that I'm still about that. I'm going to do this all over again. It just makes no sense, Skip, because you do everything. If somebody would have told Ja, Skip, let's ask you this. 10 years ago, if somebody said, Ja, by the time you're 24, you're going to have almost $250 million contract from an NBA team. You're going to have a signature shoe, and you're going to be one of the faces of a sports dream. What you think he just said, Skip?
Well, I got you.
For real?
Okay, so I've called around the league to people I've known forever talking about Ja because I was so shocked by the IG Live, how brazen it was. And I had several people say to me, well, time out. are you sure you guys on TV aren't giving him a pass here? Like you're not that? They're asking me, are you sure he's not that? Like that's just who he is, that he is about that life. I'm just throwing this out, that are we missing the boat here, that that's just who he's been from the start? And we keep saying, no, you're just associating with the wrong people when he's actually part of the wrong people. Is that it?
Skip, that you know what, Skip? You and the people that you talk to might be 100% correct. But that makes it even more egregious.
It does.
Because you got out of that. Have a $250 million contract, and somehow you want to revert back. You want to go back and do that all over again after you've made it out. Skip, normally when you make it out, Skip, I mean, if you stuck in a hole, they help you out of the hole. You don't go put yourself back in the hole again.
You don't.
You're like, no, I don't want to be in that situation again. John, no. Why would you want to be in that situation? You've got now a $250 million NBA contract, a signature shoe, Powerade, a sports drink commercial, face of a sports drink. And this is what you choose to do? And Skip, I see all the actions on the side. Anytime somebody do something,
yeah.
I get out there, come on, bruh. But Skip, let me ask you a question. Again, when have you known real, legit gangsters display that type of behavior?
No, I agree. I got you.
They walk in silence. They move in silence.
All right. Now to your point about the NBA. We have not heard from the NBA because they are still investigating. He obviously had his gun on an NBA trip, as you say, on the plane, and they're not going to love that. That could be grounds for a more definitive and lengthy suspension, even though now the Grizz are saying, well, it's indefinite. Okay, so was what they did to say it's at least 2 games and maybe more, was that just a preemptive strike on their part, trying to sort of say we're self-punishing here so that you guys don't come in with a heavier hand than we are exercising right now? Okay, so that's a possibility.
They're probably trying to lessen the blow.
Yeah. All right. Here's my final point, and it's a positive one. This is why I'm going to hang in with Ja Morant. He did something last year that took my breath away because I didn't see it coming. In his 3rd year in the league a year ago, he won Most Improved Player. Shannon, that's hard to do because you haven't been around all that long, and everybody saw him coming as a rookie. Oh, look, he can do that, he can do that, he can do that. And yet he could not shoot. He was a poor three-point shooter. So a year ago, he improves his three-point percentage from 30% all the way up to 34%. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but over the whole season, it's significant. And he improved his free throw shooting from 73%, which is below average, to 76%, and he's starting to get up into the average range. And his shooting percentage from the floor went from 45 up to 49. And the league said, way to go, kid. Now you're averaging from 19 up to 27 points. You are the most improved in the league. Shannon, you and I know both that took a lot of off-season work on his part.
Yeah.
He had to get in the lab and stay in the lab the whole offseason. So it shows me what he can be made of. It showed me a commitment by a very young player because he's still only 23 now. He won't be 24 until August. So at age 22 and then going back to age 21, he said, I got to get better. I got to work my tail off to get better. And he got so much better, he won Most Improved Player. Well, now I'm going to transfer that into what we got going on right now. Okay, go get better. You did it on the court. Now you need to do it off the court, right?
Yep. You've done it before. You proved that you know what it takes to get better. So go get better. Skip. Remember when we came out, I took Ja over Zion. You took Zion. I took Ja.
Yeah, you did. And I was shocked by it. As much as I loved Ja at Murray State, I thought, wait, the other guy is a monster, a human wrecking ball, but the other guy can't stay healthy, obviously. So, to your credit, way to go. So far, you're right until now. And now they both have issue, one health and one off court.
Right.
So I'm wishing him well, and I'm going to hang in and hope that he can be most improved off the court.
Yeah. Whatever time he needs to take away, take that time. And when you come back, because I know the on-court stuff will take care of itself. Be a better man, be a better person off the court. And then all that combined, the sky's the limit for you, Ja.
Well said, guys. Obviously, what he has had in his life so far isn't fulfilling him for some reason. So hopefully this time away will give him some fulfillment, some sense of purpose in his life.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.